All right, they're asking us to simplify a radical, and in this case we see that our index is 4. So this is the fourth root of 32 x to the 24th y to the 5th. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to treat these separately. Okay, I'm going to look at the 32, the x to the 24th, and then the y to the 5th separately. So I can do this. I can split up my radical. I will call it the fourth root of 32, and that's going to be times the fourth root of x to the 24th, and that is going to be times the fourth root of y to the 5th. Okay, and let's look at these one at a time. First we'll look at the fourth root of x to the 32. Okay, so since I have a number in there, I want to see if I know the fourth root of x to the 32. So I want to look at my chart. Let me pull it up. All right, and this chart down here is listing all my squares, my cubes, and my fourth roots, fourth powers. So we're looking at this column right here. Since we have the fourth root, we're looking at the fourth power. And is 32 in this column? No. Any of these numbers go into 32. So 256 is too big, 81 is too big. Does 16 go into 32? Yes, it certainly does. 2 times. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rewrite this as the fourth root of 16 times the fourth root of 2. All right, 16 times 2 is 32. Now, I do know the fourth root of 16. The fourth root of 16 is 2. So the fourth root of 16 is just the number 2 outside of the radical. All right, this fourth root of 2 comes down. That one's stuck inside the radical. So I've done this first part. I know that the fourth root of 32 is 2 fourth root of 2. Now let's look at the middle one. The fourth root of x to the 24. Now the long way to do this is to write out all 24 x's. Okay, if I did the fourth root of x to the 24, let me do a little computer magic to make this quicker. All right, I got a hand cramp now. All right, so if this is my 24 x's, I'm looking for one group of 4 inside to be able to take one x outside. Okay, so this will give me one x outside, 2 x's outside, 3 x's outside, 4, 5, 6. 6 x's outside. Okay, so what this really is going to look like is x to the 6th outside of the radical, and there's nothing left under the radical. Now, a somewhat quicker way to do it, or when you get better at this, is just to say how many groups of 4 do I have inside this x to the 24th? All right, how many groups of 4? So when you look at this, how many groups of 4? And you're going to say 6 groups of 4. How many are left over after you do the 6 groups of 4? None. All right, so that's 2 possible ways to do it. All right, but to understand, I'm going to prefer this way. I'm going to say every group of 4 inside gives me 1 x outside. There's 4, 5, 6 groups inside gives me 6 x's outside. And when I take all these out, what's left over? Nothing is left over under the radical for that term. Okay, let's do this one in a similar way. I have the fourth root of y to the 5th. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Fourth root. How many groups of 4 do I have inside the radical? Just 1. That's going to give me 1 y on the outside. And now what's left on the inside? This one right here, this y. I can't take that y out. Not part of a group of 4. So this y is going to be left on the outside. And this group of 4 gives me 1 on the outside. Okay, the one with the blue stays inside. The group of 4 gives me 1 outside. Okay, so I have simplified all 3 parts. Now let's put them together. First, let's look at our radical, the fourth root. What is left under the radical? Well, I have a 2 and a y. So 2y stays under the radical. And then what part comes out front? Well, I have this 2, this x to the 6th, and this y. So that's going to give me 2x to the 6th y on the outside with a 2y under the 4th root. And that's it. Okay, I have simplified. Look at what's left in here. Can anything in there simplify by the 4th root? No, it can't.